What it do, baby? Yeah.
We talking about sports, get ball.
You've tuned in to a brand new edition, the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee, featuring the one and only
Mrs. Bott.
She's back, and we wanted to take a little bit of a hiatus to let real conversations rightfully have the spotlight. We didn't feel right stealing away the spotlight and the conversation that needed to happen, but we are back. We're going to address a few serious things, hopefully make you smile a little like we usually try to do, and get back to sports and spicy takes. You know the drill. We've tuned in from basically the newly anointed, the soon-to-be called Flavortown, USA. So if you don't know about it, it's formerly known as Columbus, but it's a foregone conclusion.
Welcome to Flavortown.
We're recording from
Flavortown.
So we give you all the spicy takes. It's perfect.
Big spice there.
Great.
All right, without further ado, let's get going on Yeah Fam or Nah. And we actually do have quite a bit of COVID-19 and sports updates because things are starting to gear back up. So, babe, golf is already back, as you know. You know all these, actually. NBA is outlining having 22 teams over at Disney. They're calling it kind of like the bubble. They're going to be setting up for them to be all in this area where they have all the amenities, but they can't really leave.
Are there families going with them too, or is it just the players?
As far as I know, at least to start, I think it's the players, but I think they're looking to try to introduce, but then there's a whole another wave if you involve families.
Right.
MLB has been kind of stealing the spotlight lately because the players and owners could not agree for the longest time. Finally, they have agreed on a 60-game season. The issue the whole time, as many of us know, is that pro rata term that has become so popular. The players wanted a direct proportion of the games they played, so they played 60 games. They want their fair share, 60 out of 162, that same proportion is what they want paid. The owners were not having that. They were claiming that they were going to lose profit, so the players had to feel that pain. Ultimately, the MLB stepped in on an agreement that was made a long time ago. I don't know what took them so long to make this decision to finally just mandate the 60 games, but it finally happened. It's full pro rata. There's no expanded playoffs. The playoffs will look the same. It's just the regular season will be very short. The owners get to stay at their figure of $1.5 billion of spending for the salaries. So
Billion.
Yeah, must be nice, right?
Billion. Wow, let's just focus on that for a second.
Yeah, must be fucking nice. While many of us are a lot of people haven't gotten another even $1,200
right.
and been unemployed this whole time. They're arguing over billions of dollars.
1.5 billion.
Important to note regarding that 60 games, this was from Hembo, or Paul Hembekides from ESPN. He is one of the stat people on ESPN's Get Up. He tweeted the following: 5 World Series champions were 500 or worse through 60 decisions, 60 games. That includes last year's World Series champ, the Washington Nationals.
Wait a
so
minute.
It is very possible that the team that would have been the best or made the postseason or regular season will not after 60 games.
You're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Moving on, college sports have started to report for voluntary workouts.
I am excited about that.
We're excited about it, but kind of nervous because these are young people. So as numbers start to rise, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, the numbers rising, because I have a lot to say about that. But as numbers start to rise, I don't know that these very unpaid college athletes deserve to have to show up while maybe students aren't even on campus, all that stuff. So that they have a lot to figure out in terms of college sports, in my opinion.
Do you know how closely any of it's being regulated? Is that being reported at all?
I feel like the regulations are there, but it's just like the minute you have a positive case or if you have someone that seriously gets sick, is it worth it? I mean, these are college students. Like they have their whole lives ahead of them,
their whole lives ahead.
And a lot of them aren't going to be pros. So you have to think really hard about that.
But they're so dedicated to their craft right now that
and I'm sure they all
voluntary. They're there, like it's not.
Voluntary is
don't ever
big
play
ass
yourself.
air
Don't
quotes.
ever play
Voluntary
yourself.
is
Don't ever play yourself.
Even in high school, I remember saying, "Oh, these are suggested." It's like voluntary workouts, which means you damn well better be there unless you have a solid excuse.
We see voluntary workouts happening on our neighborhood track. Every
nobody's
evening.
following that shit.
Yeah.
And then finally, A1 since day 2, big NASCAR guy over here. NASCAR recently and finally banned the Confederate flag from their sport. It was long overdue, but as the poet Aubrey Graham, better known as Drake, once said,
"Better late than never, but never late is better."
So NASCAR finally got their shit together. They have embraced their one black driver, Bubba Wallace, who coincidentally I've been a fan forever. My favorite NASCAR driver. I mean, don't get it twisted. Go NASCAR, go Bubba.
What it do, baby?
Well, Bubba has been very outspoken about Black Lives Matter. He even did a custom paint job for one of the races featuring Black Lives Matter, decals, all that stuff. The sport has rallied around him. Recently had what they thought was a noose found in his garage at Talladega. It was determined by the FBI that it was from a garage pull, which I'm happy it was not race related after everything that's been going on and these people that are somehow outraged that they can't use a fucking losing flag like the Confederate flag. I'm glad it wasn't race related, but we got a glimpse of that sport really rallying around Bubba for the 48 hours we thought this was a hate crime. So there's a lot of good that came from it. You saw some great moments in NASCAR, and rightfully so. The sport rallied around Bubba, and they've really shown a progressive nature that's been missing for a long time. And I think in the long run, it's going to result in a lot more people becoming fans. They're going to have a lot of new fans because of their willingness to change and evolve. So big ups to them. I'm overall a yeah fam to all this. I'm cautiously a yeah fam. We're just talking sports in this category, so I'm a yeah fam as a fan, but you know my concerns as a public health guy. Yeah. What about you, babe?
The images of the NASCAR race of all of the drivers pushing Bubba's car are just beautiful. Like it's such a cool,
incredible
unity. I love it. I love how you see those moments of just kindness and love in times when people can be very, very hateful. So that's beautiful.
As we've seen,
yeah. But I mean, I agree with you. I think I can imagine if this is their job, this is their livelihood, playing sports. So I can imagine that the players and the coaches and the training staffs, they're probably all itching to get back to work, just like any of us that have had to be away from a job that they love and enjoy. So I'm sure that they're itching to get back and excited to get back. And I know as fans, we're excited to have sports to watch again. But as with anything right now, there's always going to be a hint of worry, a hint of anxiety, and hoping that everything is handled properly and they're taking all the necessary precautions and not just jumping back in it for the money and viewers' sake. So,
which these sports very well might be taking precautions, but I'm waiting for the time where you should not be surprised to see players testing positive. I know that's a big thing. Like recently, Ezekiel Elliott tested positive, and that news broke, and that's a big deal. I get that. We're seeing so many cases. It is bound to happen because more often than not, the sport can take it as seriously as they want. If the state is not following suit, we're seeing spikes in so many states, majority of the United States. So don't be surprised. COVID-19 effectively said, bitch, you thought to all these sports. Yeah. So don't be surprised to see this impact a lot of sports that we were thinking were resuming because people just got
too excited.
They got complacent and have not been diligent with taking the necessary measures, and these are the consequences. And hopefully they're not more serious and life-threatening. Hopefully they can be as trivial as, our sports get delayed a little bit longer. But if that's the perspective you need, like our beloved sports may be impacted by people's unwillingness to continue to take this damn pandemic seriously. Just because things are opening doesn't mean it's gone away. It hasn't taken a break, so stop fucking thinking so.
Right. And the hard part about sports, too, is, I mean, with it being a respiratory illness, obviously they're exerting, like, large puffs of air more when you're exercising.
And it's a close contact. You can't avoid it.
Right. So, like, things like golf, I get. Like, you can stay pretty safely distanced while playing golf. NASCAR, you can be safely distanced while racing. Even MLB, in a way, baseball can... There's very limited contact in baseball, but basketball, that's... Like, they're on each other, breathing on each other, like...
Yep.
You know, that's very, very close contact. So, definitely going to be a concern.
Okay. Now we go on to our favorite, this couples edition category, our COVID-19 at-home edition of Yeah Fam or Nah. So, overall, you're a Yeah Fam, right? To most of these sports coming back with caution, right? Just like me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll name a few regulars. You give me your Yeah Fam or Nah, babe. You know the deal. Okay. So, I think a lot of people are in this boat, expanding friend groups. So some of us have had a quarantine crew, some have been very diligent and just been by ourselves, but it seems like I've seen from all different places, not just in Flavortown, USA, like we live in,
Flavortown,
but elsewhere, people seem to be expanding their friend groups. Are you a Yeah Fam or not? Does it make you nervous? What's your stance on it?
Well, selfishly, like, we talked so much during the shutdown that's what we missed the most. We missed seeing our friends. So, I'm a Yeah Fam to be able to have that part of our life back, in a sense. I feel like more whole of a person, right. Having our friends accessible. But it does make you nervous in the sense that you're trusting. It's a big part of trust. You're trusting your friends to be taking it seriously. You're trusting that they're not being stupid when you're apart, so that when you do see them, the risk isn't high. So there is a big factor of trust into expanding that friend group. And I just crew, I hope you're all being safe out there.
Yeah, don't be an idiot. I think the main thing that I've stated is I'm a Yeah Fam to it, but the trust part is key, like you said. Also knowing kind of where your friends have been and how responsible they've been. I think that's a big factor. And then not being afraid to say, I'm not feeling 100%. I don't think it's related to this, but maybe I ought to stay home. That's a responsible thing to do ultimately, because hopefully with preliminary research suggests that it's rare to pass it on if you're asymptomatic. So I'm hoping that's still the case, because naturally in public health we have to focus on what we can see, and that is symptomatic people. So it'd be nice if this pandemic gave us a little break and it was in fact the case that the asymptomatic people, even if you do have it, it's rare to pass on. So just be wary and protect those people around you, and wear your fucking masks. Okay, how about this one? Yeah Fam or Nah to eating at a restaurant for the first time in months?
That was a big deal. That was a very big deal.
We just celebrated our anniversary.
It was for our 4-year anniversary. After long talking, we said, hey, this is a restaurant brand that we can trust to be following regulations, taking it seriously, so let's give it a go. And we joked, we're like, has food always tasted this good?
Yeah.
Or is it just because we haven't sat down in a restaurant in a while? So the food was quite delicious. We had a good night. We had a very good night.
I'm a Yeah Fam because there's so many regulations. I think in order to open, they have to be safe. And I think also if you are, it's like you and I are just eating at home. It's just in a different location, and we've been kind of we're just by ourselves in that sense. So at least that part was nice. I'm a Yeah Fam because it's nice to go out to dinner and not have to worry about a thing. Because as much as takeout is fun, it's still nice to get out and do something. Felt like we dressed up for the first time too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, along the same lines, Yeah Fam or Not of birthdays during quarantine. You had yours a while ago, and we've recorded a couple episodes. I had mine since the last time we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
You were a Yeah fan because of the quality time, I think.
I was a big Yeah fan just to 'cause how many people took the time to reach out and make it special.
I'm a Yeah fan too. I need the supplement of like the social part of it, but I wouldn't trade that for anything. It doesn't. If it's nice to be able to like just focus on the quality time you spend as opposed to like going from a planned thing to another planned thing. So I'm a big fan of those. But we are due for one big hurrah when everything is safe to sell. We have a lot of birthdays to celebrate.
Yeah, there's gonna be a big bar crawl.
Yeah. In Flavortown.
Flavortown.
Okay, so we've been doing this answer for the other person what we think. So, babe, what do you think for me I am least likely to go to now that things are opening up? So what amenity that was not really available before, like what do you think I'm gonna take the longest to get back to?
Interesting. I have two initial thoughts. First, I'm going to say like downtown bars, specifically the bars, just because they can get so crowded, small spaces, people not wearing their face coverings. So that was my first instinct. My second was the gym.
Yeah.
Because of what we talked about earlier of just like, there's just a lot of exertion that happens in that setting and a lot of breathing on other people.
Yep, exactly
so
right.
I don't know which one, but
I was actually gonna mention both of them. I think if I had to pick one, it'd probably be like the super packed bars, because that seems to be the group that is least diligent also. Like I feel like people going to a gym kind of know what they're getting themselves into and are a little cautious anyway.
True. Good point.
That being said, it's still one of my top answers. So I have the same question for you. What are you most likely to stay away from? I would say my answer for you is those crowded bars, because I think they make you nervous. Sure. I think the other things we've already kind of exposed ourselves to, and they're like calculated risks, but that is the one I feel like you would be least likely to visit. And it's kind of the same answers, because I feel like you and I have talked about this. Like you're not as confident in the gym either yet.
Yeah, I haven't gone back yet. It's summertime right now, so I can work out outside.
Right.
I'm not feeling as pressured to get back into an indoor facility, but hands down, going quote unquote out is probably the most nerve-wracking for me, because when you start drinking too, you stop caring as much. So even if you're not drunk, people around you are tipsy and drunk.
Yep.
And I don't want to take that risk of just being around someone that's not caring.
Now it's time for everyone's favorite section.
And here we go.
You played yourself. We have a lot to get to here, but we wanted to be sure that we addressed the whole reason why we kind of took a pause. We didn't want to take away from the voices that needed to be heard and are long overdue to be heard. So I need everyone to know that you are absolutely playing yourselves if you're not screaming that Black Lives Matter and all Black Lives Matter. That includes our Black trans brothers and sisters. You need to be amplifying Black voices with your platforms during this time. This is a crossroads in our entire nation's history. We're finally having conversations that are long overdue, and people are facing their own like implicit biases that they didn't even know really existed. Mm-hmm. It's really important that you do that soul searching, and those tough conversations are necessary to have. Yeah. And most of all, silence is not okay. You need to be supporting your Black brothers and sisters, and you need to know that systemic racism is present and has been for far too long. Do not be on the wrong side of history, and that wrong side includes those that are on the silent side. So I need you guys to know like where Creme Brulee stands as a brand, and I'm comfortable saying this about us as a couple. This is where we stand, and I'm perfectly fine you being wrong if you like. You're not even disagreeing, you're just wrong. So I need that to be said, and I want there to be this in your number one headphones. You know, I have these number one podcast listeners, this number one podcast in your headphones. You need to hear this above all else. Black Lives Matter, and you are absolutely fucking playing yourselves if you don't agree with that sentiment. It's not even a sentiment as much as it is, it's right versus wrong. Yeah. And there's not much else to say. It's okay to not know everything and to ask questions and all that, but at the basis of anything is that you need to know that Black Lives Matter, and you need to know that Black Lives Matter, if you're saying ignorant things beyond Black Lives Matter, you need to understand that everyone can't matter until we get to the point where the Black Lives do. And I know you've heard it time and time again. I'm available to educate you. Our black brothers and sisters have done enough trying to educate all of us over this time. They are fucking tired, and they don't deserve to have to explain this notion to you. So I am available for that. I know, Steph, you're available for that. Mm-hmm. Do some soul searching if you haven't already, and hold people accountable. It's okay to have these conversations. They're difficult to have, but imagine how much more difficult it is being black in this country right now. So I'm sorry that this conversation is tough for you to hear. I'm sorry that you're not educated enough to know that you're wrong if you don't agree. But
from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
You need to get there. That's where we're at right now. It's not a matter of opinion. Nope. It is a simple fact that you need to get through, in this case through your headphones. Black Lives Matter, and you're playing yourself if you think any version of that is absolutely not 100% true. You're fucking wrong. That's it.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You have something to add, babe?
I think you rocked it there. No, you took out exactly.
You've done a lot of soul searching during this because you grew up. You've always been inclusive. You were raised by a family that was inclusive, but you've done a lot of soul searching. And I'm very proud of you for that, because I would never have considered you anything other than an advocate for our black brothers and sisters. But even you and myself, and I think every one of us has caught ourselves like, maybe we didn't know the full picture, and we're kind of expanding and evolving. And I think that's important.
Yeah. I feel like we've had some really honest conversations with family and friends at this point, and I'm coming to the realization that while I'm so incredibly thankful for my upbringing and so incredibly thankful that my family and my parents were inclusive and opened my world up to the beauty that is all around us, but I was also taught under that kind of colorblindness mentality, and I'm educating myself and learning and listening and hearing that while that led to me being inclusive and led to me having an open mind, it also led to me being not scared but nervous to talk about race and to acknowledge race. And I think I'm learning through this process and learning through the brave voices that are speaking up right now, recognizing that it does matter to see color. Like we do need to see each other's uniquenesses. We need to acknowledge what our appearance is and our race and our color of our skin.
Embrace them.
Right. It's a part of who we are. It's not something to be ignored. And that's definitely something I'm learning, and hoping that in my classroom and with my friendships, with my family, I can do my part in recognizing the beauty and the uniqueness in all of us.
I dig it. Now, I wanted to shift, now that we addressed what the important part and the conversation that still needs to continue, frankly, I'm hoping to put smiles on faces. So let's get back to the spiciness that is my wild sports takes. So next up on You Played Yourself goes to the aforementioned MLB owners. So until they just agreed on that 60-game season, but I need a You Played Yourself to go to these fucking billionaires who had the audacity to ask their players to eat some of the potential lost profit they would suffer from not having fans in the stands. So this pro rata that we talked about, that everybody's been talking about regarding the MLB, the owners wanted the players to not earn their full proportion of their salaries because their argument was that they'd be losing profits from fans not being in the stands. Let's have some fucking perspective here. These billionaires, this is a road bump to them. They're not going to all of a sudden not be billionaires during this time.
Again, billion.
And they're asking these players, I get it. These players are millionaires too. I'm fully aware of that. But I need you to put this in perspective. It'd be like if you're on an entry-level position and your boss tells you to take the pay cut instead of he or she taking the pay cut when they have enough in their savings. They've worked themselves into being a boss, and they earn more than you on a monthly basis, but it'd be them asking you in your minimum entry-level wage to take that pay cut. So put that in this context. These billionaires who have to go through a minor speed bump of, by the way, they're still going to get TV deals and money coming in their way. They own valuable franchises. They're asking these players with about, I don't know, on average, maybe 3 to 6 years of prime earning of being a millionaire. They're asking them to take the pay cut instead of these fucking billionaires who are too big to fail. It's not outrageous to think that a millionaire could potentially lose that all by you fucking ground. And you're asking them to take the cut instead of you. And I'm glad we finally landed on this full pro rata, but it's kind of annoying that we have to have these conversations. And I get, like, I've talked to a lot of friends, and I was like this. It's like, oh, we gotta hate millionaires arguing with billionaires. But put that shit in perspective. Like, we're not on the same scale here. Think of it on a scale instead of the million and billion. Like, you need to understand that if you're gonna take a side, it's not like, oh, they're both being idiots. It is definitely more on the owners. And they played themselves.
Well, it's also, I mean, the players are doing their job, so they should get paid. Like, that's, like, you can't ask someone to do their job but not get paid.
Here's the craziest part.
Compensated for it. Like, that, any job, you know what I mean?
The players don't get a share of the profits when they sell tickets. The owners sell tickets, but yet the owners are trying to have the players split the pain that comes with the loss of profits. Right. How the fuck is that fair? Like, oh, because our company, because we're not selling tickets, you have to feel this loss. But when we do sell out a stadium because of you, player, then you don't get any of that money. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Petty alert. Petty alert. Petty alert.
Next up is Ohio State and Alabama scheduled a home and home all the way in 2027 and 2028. Cannot wait. But I need you all to remember this when the pundits and experts tell us that Ohio State doesn't play anyone. So you can go ahead and fuck off in the future. Because just know that when this was scheduled, this is what happened. It's also really weird that we scheduled 10 years in advance.
I know.
It's like Ohio State's been caught in this where we schedule so far in advance, and by the time you play this program, they've become shitty. We had that happen with, like, we played Washington years ago, and TCU. TCU. Yeah. And you schedule them so far in advance. I mean, by 2027, it's not outrageous to think Nick Saban won't be the coach at Alabama. He's getting old. So, anyway.
You know what's cool about that scenario? Who stayed consistently good amongst all those years.
Amen.
Just saying.
Go Bucks, baby. Flavortown, USA.
Flavortown.
Okay. This new Twitter thing where you vote for your favorite by liking, retweeting, or replying. We all know this little stupid-ass trend it's much easier to like. Like, I have to think these brands know that. But not only that, it's you played yourself because Twitter has a fucking vote function, and I don't get this little trend. I mean, I guess maybe this will fizzle out just like those push-up challenges on Instagram when quarantine started and those little survey things or the song challenges.
Petty alert.
You played yourself goes to these stupid-ass new trendy polls on Twitter.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Can't comment because I don't have a Twitter.
You technically do, but you don't remember the login.
I have no idea.
That's how long it's been. And last but not least, I had to save it for mine. I'm going to save your one for last here.
Okay.
But you played yourself goes to King Snake himself. So Kevin Durant became part owner of an MLS team, the Philadelphia Union. Fantastic. It's huge. I mean, to be even a minority owner on any team, any pro team, is such a huge deal for someone to be a current player and have a stake in a team. That's only going to make him more money. But the reason this is on You Played Yourself, so the Philadelphia Union's logo, I mean, just guess what it features. Like, I couldn't have even made this up. It features a snake on it.
Oh, jeez.
And it is so fucking perfect that Kevin Durant chose to be a part owner in the MLS logo with a fucking snake on it. And this is a good time to remind you that Kevin Durant has 0 rings, and hopefully he gets his first one as a net in the future with the help of actual NBA champion Kyrie Irving. But
what's his connection to Philadelphia?
No clue.
Okay. Just
but
curious.
Maybe he's attracted by the snake on the logo. Okay, so I've had you give me a You Played Yourself each of these couples editions. So what do you got for me on this episode?
I am no scientist, but I have been feeling very, very passionate about how dumb people are being in public. And the fact that why can we not get our heads around wearing a mask? It just literally baffles me. And why do people think wearing a mask over their mouth but not their nose is doing anything for them? Like, we're not that dumb. We have to have some intelligence and some awareness to know you're not doing it right, or you're not doing it at all, and all you're doing is making it worse for everyone else. Like, it's just, I am not usually one to get feisty, but this subject makes me feisty because everyone's making it about politics. It's not about politics.
But babe, it's hard to breathe in those masks.
Oh my God. Like, how many silly little graphics have to be created and posted on Instagram for someone to realize, like, 2 people wearing a mask, we're going to stop the spread if you do it. I just don't understand.
I don't understand the audacity to be like, this mask is uncomfortable. It's difficult to breathe. So,
I'm gonna get
the alternative is fucking death. Yeah. Like,
plug me into a ventilator instead. That's gonna be super comfortable. I don't get it. It literally does not make any sense to me.
You are seeing an increase in COVID cases, partly because people are getting they're just getting tired. There's no reason other than it's getting tiring wearing these masks all the time. It hasn't gone away just because you got tired of it.
Right.
Wear your goddamn masks.
And it takes like 2 seconds just to read a couple stats and to see, like, Pennsylvania's cases are consistently going down. That's because they have a mandatory mask rule. Like, if you're in public, you're wearing your mask. Their cases are going down. Huh.
Also, by some crazy notion, which science has proven otherwise, okay, the masks aren't working. It's a very slight inconvenience to at least give it a fucking try. On the off chance it does work, which it does.
It is, yeah.
But hypothetically, even if it didn't, it's a very minor inconvenience for a chance at lessening your risk at getting it and potentially fucking dying.
Right.
What perspective do you need other than that?
And the last thing I want to say about it, the point that gets me the most is, like, by me wearing a mask, I'm protecting the people around me from getting any of my germs. But it's like, if you see someone not wearing a mask that walks by you, it's kind of like they're just being like, well, fuck you, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you get sick.
They might as well flip you.
Right, that's like literally what they're saying to me if you're not wearing a mask in public. Like, that's the statement.
Also, if you're one of those fucks claiming like, I can't wear a mask because of a previous medical condition, you probably shouldn't be out in fucking public, because newsflash, there's a pandemic going around that you may not realize is still going on, but there's a pandemic and you clearly don't have the immune system to be just fucking dilly-dallying at the mall. So if you're one of those people that can't wear a mask, you probably should limit how much you're out anyway. It's not just gone because you want it to be gone. Right. The fuck out of here. Anyway.
Thanks for supporting my rant.
You know me, how passionate I am. You picked the right subject here. Okay, now we're on to who you got and what you feeling. We've been doing a COVID-related one. We can't really make picks just yet because sports aren't quite starting. maybe we'll do that a little bit closer to when they're actually gearing up. Mm-hmm. Last episode, we talked about the thing we were most looking forward to having back, that things were opening. Yeah. You cited that you like where we're at, kind of like socializing on patios, like keeping it low-key and not having to do this whole public thing like we both are nervous about. Yeah. I, of course, was excited about the haircut and expanding our circle a little, which we since have and done so responsibly. Mm-hmm. So this week I wanted... Since this is starting, things are starting to open up, and obviously we're expanding the circle and all this stuff, events are starting to happen. Over the course of this quarantine or this home isolation, what are you most proud of that you accomplished?
Gosh, is it lame of me to say like the whole category of just like house projects, like home projects? I feel like the last 3-ish months, we've done a lot of major things around our house. We cleaned out and organized our garage. It actually looks like a nice, pretty space. Who can say that about a garage? We got our floors redone and all of our rooms put back together, and that was a huge check off that we've been wanting to do around the house. We created and planted and set up a whole new garden in our backyard, along with a privacy fence that Premal made. What it do, baby? Shout out to you. So yeah, I'm proud of just the updates we've done and the maintenance we've done around our house in the last couple of months. Yeah, it's made it real homey.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that also, in the effort of having a little bit different of an answer, because that's definitely one of mine. I think I'm most proud of... I think you and I always valued our relationships, but I think we have improved greatly in communicating, not only with the friends that really matter to us, but also being better at communicating with just you and I. I'm very proud of like the quality time we've spent. Part of that has been improving the house, but like I feel like we've been eating a lot more dinners, just the two of us facing each other, not in front of a TV, all that stuff. So I'm very proud of developing and cultivating these relationships further without the benefit of doing social events. You have to really work on them, and it's this time has challenged that. So I really dig that. And I'm also very proud of the work I've done in public health. So career-wise, I have really worked my butt off harder than I have ever before. So I'm very proud of that. For sure.
You should be. You've been working a ton. Showing off.
Okay, babe, what you feeling lately?
Well, kind of going off of what we just talked about, I think what I'm feeling the most is having our friends over and hanging out on the patio and having bonfires or lighting the citronella candles and the lanterns and hanging out and having some drinks outside. I think that's been something I'm really enjoying. I've been joking the other night that it also kind of shows our age a little bit, because
we're washed.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the fact that we can just hang out outside on our own patio, have a couple drinks, actually hear each other talk to each other, and then I can just walk upstairs and go to bed. It's like literally the perfect situation.
That's how you know you're old.
Yeah, so we've kind of crossed that threshold, but it's been a really nice way to stay social, enjoy our house and everything, all the work we put into it. Enjoy the good weather we've been having here in Ohio, which doesn't always happen.
In Flavortown, Ohio.
In Flavortown, Ohio.
Flavortown.
So yeah, so that's what I've been feeling lately.
All right, I love that answer. I'm also digging that. You and I started and fully caught up with the show Insecure. It's a very easy watch.
We watched,
HBO.
Yeah, very quickly.
Issa Rae's show. That is very good. I also watched Spike Lee's new Netflix movie, The Five Bloods. It is a very long movie, but it is very fantastic, a unique script. It is kind of bounces around a little bit, but the acting is phenomenal. I think it'll be in the conversation when we get to award season, so not used to a movie coming out this early and being in that conversation, but I think it will be. So that's what I'm feeling lately.
Yeah. Definitely Insecure. Highly recommend.
Yeah, very easy watch.
Thanks, Tori, for the recommend.
Yeah, shout out Tara. Okay, so I like to end all my episodes with my too much sense, the advice you didn't ask for, but I'm going to give you anyway. And I had this little tidbit when you and I were having one of our quality dinners. You and I both are people pleasers, I would say.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
yeah, we want everyone to be happy, and we're constantly worrying about satisfying each person that we would potentially be hanging out with, all that stuff. We feel bad when things don't work out.
Family, all that, yeah.
But I think this was a particular instance where you were feeling it more than I was. I kind of came to this realization, and I'm trying to work on it myself, but my too much sense for this week is to remind you all to not worry about people pleasing, but worry about pleasing your person. I know, pretty deep. Take a second. But anyway, in terms of not people pleasing, I mean that in the general sense, but pleasing your person, I mean in terms of like your person being first and foremost yourself. You need to make sure that you are good yourself, and you can't really being there for other people if you're not set in your own foundation. And then also worry about your immediate next person versus the general people. Yeah. And by that I mean, for me, that's you, babe. I need to worry first about making sure that you're good before I branch out to anyone else, because you're the most important. So I think we have a tendency, we being the general sense, like you want to please everyone around you, but you're kind of taking the person next to you for granted. So my reminder through all of this is to make sure that, yes, you probably got quality time with your significant other over this past, but worry about like that inner circle first before you branch out and worry about pleasing others, because you really can't offer up yourself unless you and yours are good.
Yeah. I think it's a big learning experience coming out of quarantine life too, because a lot of, at least friends that I've talked to, have thoroughly enjoyed having a slower pace of life and enjoyed getting to have more quality time with their significants and not so much pressures. So as life gets back to being, quote, like a little bit busier, it's definitely important to keep in mind, don't lose some of those things that you learned, and don't forget those moments that actually were really healthy and really great for your relationships. Yep. I was impressed how you worded that.
Yes. Don't worry about people pleasing. Please your person.
That came straight from Prem's brain.
What it do,
Top
baby?
of the dome, baby. Sometimes it happens. Anyway, this has wrapped up another edition of the #1 podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. Thanks, babe, for joining me.
Of course.
Again.
Sports might be back next time.
Yeah.
So I might be out. Am I kicked out?
You know sports. This might be like our little mini series within the Prem Brulee. Might be putting a bow on that. A nice number. This is a couples edition 5, so this might put a bow on that, since it'll be more sports related going forward. But you've been nothing but positive reviews, so I don't see why I'd be stupid not to have you again. People have been clamoring for it to be your show anyway. So
no, not at all.
Anyway, we've been your host from Flavortown, USA, the Bots. She's Steph. I'm Prem. And this has been another edition of the #1 podcast in your headphones. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever play yourselves. We're still here, hopefully on the reg, and we'll talk to you next time.
Wear your masks.
Damn right.